Φίλες και φίλοι, καλησπέρα σας. Απόδημου Παλμού, απόψε, 27 Δεκεμβρίου 2025. Σημερινή εκπομπή θα είναι λίγο διαφορετική από τις άλλες εκπομπές τις οποίες κάνουμε. Σήμερα θα απευθυνθούμε στον οικουμενικό ελληνισμό, στην Ελληνορθόδοξη κοινότητα σε όλο τον κόσμο. Θα έχουμε καλεσμένους τους Έλληνες του Λεβάντ, τον ελληνισμό, τον ελληνοορθόδοξο ελληνισμό της Συρίας, τους ελληνοορθόδοξους αδερφούς μας από τη Συρία. And now I will be switching into English because our guests, the interview will be held today in English. I have the honor to welcome here today the representatives of the Orthodox community, the Levantine Greeks Hellenism of Syria, Mr. Issa, Mr. Ραφαήλ Ίσα, and Mr. Christina Abraham from Syria, our Orthodox brothers. Good evening and welcome to our show today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to start with this difficult topic. Whole community, the whole world, especially the community in Greece, knows very well from the headlines of the news channels, as long as it's breaking news, about the difficult situation that the Syrian brothers live in. You, Mr. Issa, Рафαήλ, you are the president of this association. Christina is from Canada with us today, live. And Рафαήλ is talking to us from Sweden.
Great.
I would like to know a bit about your history. How was your upbringing? How this has shaped your perspective on the current situation? How is your connection to this Greek Orthodox community in Syria? I would like to give the first word to our lady in the discussion, Mrs. Christina Abraham from Canada. Please, Christina, speak.
So I was born and raised in Latakia and Tartus before my family moved to Canada in the late 90s. And I'm actually a member of both the Orthodox community as well as the Alawite community because I come from a blended family. So we found a way to, well, we're both coastal and we're both indigenous to the coast, the two communities. So they live quite close to each other. And with that, you know, Рафаήλ and I have started to, well, we formed an organization together and he has his, he's been doing it for a decade. But we found a way to unite the two communities under one common identity.
All right. Рафαήλ, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I was also born in Latakia. Greek Orthodoxy was always part of my life because, you know, from baptism and forwards. But I think it was in 2007 when I actually visited Syria for the first time as an adult that Hellenism came to me, because prior to that, you know, we were brought up under an Arab nationalistic party, so all I knew was Arabism, perhaps a little, and I won't say much, but a little mention of maybe Phoenicians or Assyrians or prior civilization, but not much. So spending all my summers in Greece up until 2007, when I finally hit Syria, something blew up in my mind. I was, you know, I had an epiphany of some sort.
All right. Well, there are a lot of things that are happening in Syria right now. We all see the pictures of churches bombing, instability, oppression. There has been so much bloodshed there, and the last years we see strong oppression against the Orthodox Christians in this region. In this old Orthodox region, I want to mention here because it is one of the first communities, Orthodox communities or Christian communities in the region, Syria. So how has this? How are the messages you're getting? What are the stories you're getting from the people on that side there?
Well, instability, as we know, would follow any regime change. There has been, let's say, during the years of the war and after the years of the war, lawlessness is one of the most obvious results. But now that there's no one to contain the fundamentalists, it's been outright persecution. And I think Christina could be the correct person to talk about this, because the group that has been persecuted the most is the Alawites. Even though there is a Christian persecution, the Alawites are the ones getting it in some sort of revenge because Assad was an Alawite. So maybe over to you, Christina.
Actually, Rafi and I have been working on preparing this report that documents it indexes the violations and persecution against both the Alawites and the Greek Orthodox community. And while it appears that the Alawites are being visibly more persecuted and outright being massacred, I would say from the information that we've received and the documentation of the Christian violations, I would exact it quite similar in terms of persecution. Because we're seeing, and what's happening to the Christians is more than what's being reported. For example, there's a systematic daily routine of persecution and racism against the Christians that reside in Syria at the moment, which is the same as the Alawites, actually. For example, like, in Qusayr, it's a village in Homs, 15 Christians were arbitrarily arrested, men and women. And the intent of that is to create such an environment of instability and fear that it would force the displacement of the Christians out of Syria. We're seeing, churches in Skelbiye, in Hama. It's been closed for months now due to security concerns because it's been vandalized, it's been shot at. So even going to church to worship it's not a safe place. So I do speak with the Christian community back home. I do speak to our priest and the village, and they report the same. It's daily racism, persecution, and it's an uncomfortable environment. And there's no one to report to. That's the other problem. The police system is Jolani. The government system is Jolani, and that's who's persecuting them.
You mentioned a name, Jolani, Al-Golani, because he has different names. I'm a bit confused with the names he's getting. He's getting the name Al-Sara, yes, isn't it? Then Al-Jolani, then...
His guerrilla name is Jolani. And I think to legitimize him, they gave him the name Ahmed al-Shara.
Mm-hmm.
But we still call him Jolani, because that's what he's known for.
Yes, and he was wanted for crimes with 1 million euros or dollars, I think, had money on his head.
1 million.
$10 million.
He has been an official ISIS guerrilla who was killing people in Syria.
And Al-Qaeda.
And Al-Qaeda, yes.
Yes.
Well, and now he changed into moderate.
So they say.
Yes, so they say. I mean, the clothing has changed, obviously. That's
the clothing has changed, obviously, and also the international attitude towards him has changed as well. I think what Syrians fear, if we were going to speak about general picture, is the same outcome as we had in Iraq. Because you had a certain amount of Christians, you had like real communities of Assyrians and Chaldeans, etc. And now, a few years later, it's almost empty out of its indigenous Christian population. So, like Christina says, it's a fear system. It's a system of fear being put into place to scare us out if they cannot, get rid of us in any other way.
And the sectarian slogans are on a daily basis. They hand out leaflets, they graffiti and vandalize the Christian areas and the Christian homes, and they write, death to pork eaters, death to the cross worshippers. This is a daily thing that the Christians are facing, and the Alawites exactly the same.
Yes, we have seen the bombing of the church. It was on December, I think. No, it was on June, this year, June. That has multiple deaths. Have there been any reported other killings of Christians in the area? Have you got any reports? Because you are the organization that collects all the information better than any news agencies that are bringing in the headlines.
It's not happening en masse like with the church bombing, but you have isolated incidents where people get arrested, like Christina mentioned, and they disappear. They never come back. So I don't really see what's different from the regime of Assad and the current regime. It's the same system being put into practice. But you also have random killings. It's been a while now. It's almost a year since they went into Ma'lula, and I can't remember exactly if all the Christians left the village or if there's anyone left. I don't know if the audience knows, but Ma'lula is a Greek Orthodox village that speaks the dialect of Jesus Christ himself.
Aramaic.
Yeah, and it's the specific Western Aramaic. So they were pushed out of the village, and I don't know the status yet, if they're allowed back home or if they're still, in Exodus. It's hard to keep up with all the data coming out, so you have to bear with me on some data may be outdated.
There is this picture. Among that we have in Europe or all around the world. Actually, the Hellenism, the whole Greeks communities around the world. We are feeling that there is a ethnic cleansing happening and mass killing and trying to eradicate all other ethnic groups that are not in any case bound to the Islam, Sunnah Islam in this phase. The Sunni, even the Shiites are being targeted, I think, in some areas of Syria. So I'm very concerned about this. Is this also what the people are feeling slowly? Because this is I have the impression that this is a strategically organized operation that is going step by step. Look at the picture, the horrible picture from the Druze in the south, close to the border of to Israel, I think, yes? Israel, to Israel, yes?
Yes.
And there were pictures that are very horrible. I mean, you can explain this, especially for us, these people being killed on the streets. And I very much fear for the life of our Christian brothers in Syria, seeing all this picture. And I think what is happening now, what is stopping them from doing this as well to our Christian brothers? And seeing also the meetings of the high profile Christian leaders, because I think there was a meeting from Al-Jolani with the representatives of Orthodox Church in Syria. I think you're informed about this.
Yeah.
Has this reassured you, or was this a TV or a political diplomatic meeting to show some kind of...
So what is it supposed to prove? That instead of having an unelected regime, now we have a theocracy, which is also unelected. So what type of reassurance can we get from this? He's speaking to the Patriarchate, but the Patriarchate, I mean, just imagine how the Patriarch in Constantinople was under the Sultan rule. So, what can we take as assurance from this meeting that we were caught by surprise?
Yeah, it's like service. There's been no changes since. There's been no difference since the meeting.
Do you have daily communication with your people in Syria? Is there day-to-day meetings or weekly meetings where you get information?
Yes.
Yes, we do, but they're afraid to speak up as well.
I can imagine. This is why your organization is there. Christina as well gets information probably from them in Syria, and you're collecting all information, as you told me.
Right.
So to make a report, and we are very eager to get this report in the future from you, to have all the numbers and incidents, so we can promote them and provide them to our officials and see how this goes, because our main intention here is to give you the voice and to let you be heard in the community around the world. And I believe that the Greek community and the Hellenic community around the world is very much interested in to see how you are living, because you're our brothers there. We share ancestry, we share history, we share our faith. And I believe that we must stay close to you and support you in any way. And this is what I think. Christina, you want to say something?
Yeah, us in the diaspora, we're like the lifeline for the people back home because they're too afraid to speak out. So we do it on their behalf. Rafi?
No, that's true. And if we go back to the question of him speaking to Patriarch John, I mean, what's in his power to do, the Patriarch, if he can't, get some assurance of our safety or anything? I mean, he's powerless as well. The only thing that we have to, if we are to remain in the country, is that we need international pressure to actually, have consequences. If this community keeps getting targeted the way it's getting targeted, I don't know, sanctions, whatever it may be, but there has to be real consequences of it, because of now, all I hear is sweet talk and nothing changes for the better.
It is difficult to picture a kind of treaty or anything with having a person on power in Syria, which has been a guerrilla, Al-Qaeda member, a terrorist, if you allow me the expression, because actually he was wanted for crimes against humanity. And this is difficult to picture for me as a European, as a Greek. It's very difficult to picture that. However, there are some ideas and some moves towards a federal state structure in Syria. How is your stand on that, and how do you see this happening in reality?
I think federalism is the least we need. I mean that came out wrong. It's the minimum we need. Is some federalism, because if we're not in this for the politics, but somehow we need to have a survival strategy, and we cannot survive under a theocratic state, especially one that is very alien to ourselves. So we are also advocating for some sort of independence, where you as a Christian or an Alawite or an Ismailite or whatever you may be as a minority should have your right to practice, whatever faith you have, or even ethnically. You cannot be erased ethnically. So federalism, autonomy, I don't know, but something needs to be done, because this united Syria, it can't be trusted. From what we've seen the past year, it's not an option.
I want you to tell me a bit more about your organization, Levantine Greek Association, and or the Ethnikos Association. What is it providing? How is it working? A bit about the structure, so that our viewers can understand what you're doing and how they can help you and how they can support you in any way.
So for Ethnikos Association, we represent both the Alawites and the Greek Orthodox community, indigenous both to the coastal region. And we do advocate for not even just federalism, just complete independence. Back to the 1920 status, which is what the Alawites had when they formed the Alawite state, and the Druze formed the Druze state in the south. And it was actually a collection of minorities. It was an Alawite and a Druze and a Kurd and a Muslim. All together, they decided, you know what, instead of dividing the country, let's keep it whole and we'll be united under nationalism as Syrians. And this was the biggest mistake that our great-grandfathers ever made, was uniting Syria. Because now what we're seeing happen to the coastal region is that not only is there an attempt, a very blatant attempt at the systematic ethnic cleansing, there's also a demographic change attempt where we have, since 2013 to today, we have 1.5 million Sunni Muslims who came to the coast to Latakia as refugees. And they're settling there, but they're not inhabitants of the coast. The coast is predominantly Alawite and Greek Orthodox. And these Sunni Muslims today, who have been taking refuge in the coast, are the same ones that are killing and harassing our community. So with a united Syria, it's like it just doesn't work, because there's no borders between the two, and it becomes a situation where it's like a civil war which no one can intervene in. But if you have correct borders, then it'll keep the minorities in a situation where they'll be able to survive for the next 100 years.
Okay. Рафаэль, you want to speak about the...
Yeah, just to confirm what Christina said, back then Lebanon was supposed to be the Christian state of the Levant, and they had a division along ethnic and religious lines, which, we know the history, so we don't need to dive into it. But the Levantine Greek Association actually began as a anti-Arabism movement, because we wanted to show them uncensored history, our own uncensored history. So it was a Hellenistic or even Romaic movement, if you want to call it that, to bring back uncensored history, teach our culture, teach our connection to Greece, our connection to Micra Asia. But the war took it to places, and now it forms mostly as we're trying to be a voice out there for the community. So we're running to politicians to ask for help or attention for the community. We're running a lot to Greece to ask for there are still 1.5 million of us at least give us some protection through the international community, through the UN. I was in France a few weeks ago in the EU Parliament in Strasbourg. And
27th of November.
Correct. So these questions came up, but also the aid. We need to get the people. It's hyperinflation still in Syria. Electricity costs, I think, 25% of your monthly salary. So get food, medicine, insulin, whatever we can to help the people survive.
Yeah, there is no aid being sent to the coast whatsoever. And if there's any attempt to, then the Muslims take it for themselves, and they deprive the Alawites and the Christians from it.
So not even the help that is aimed for you in this region is coming there, because
No.
they take it, they sell it, they make black market.
The Kurds tried after December. They sent truckloads of aids to Latakia and Tartus, and then you saw clearly in the videos it was being raided by Bedouins and Muslims and all these people, and they were taking it, but it was intended for the Christian and the Alawite community. They did the same in Sweda. The Sweda is besieged right now, where the Druze are, and Israel was sending aid. And then in the city right next to it, the town called Dara, it's full of Muslims. They began to raid the trucks as well, and they want to give it to the Druze. So even the aid trucks have to be protected.
It's a very difficult situation, and I don't know. We are trying to bring the message out. I want you to please tell us how the Greek community can help you, how the Greeks around the world, which are members of this ecumenical worldwide Hellenism, because you're part of this, because it's entwined to the Orthodoxy and the Hellenism throughout the region. How we can help you, what we can do. Can we? You're coming to Greece. Are you making any efforts there to show more, to get more support? Are you planning anything? Can the Greek organizations come towards you and try to work with you, which we will obviously try to do and promote for you? What is it what we can do and to help you better? Because the talk is one thing, the politicians are one thing, and the other thing is the action. And I think every person can go to his member of parliament, can go to his friend or businessman and try to promote help for you.
Well, everything you said, we need all of it. And we need to make our voice heard. I know there's a pretty big Greek diaspora in the USA, in Australia also, not to mention the rest of Europe. So any promotion of, that could help our people survive is very useful. I was in the Ministry of Diaspora in Athens in 2021. And we aim to come back there this year with an agenda and a program. We don't have a fixed date yet, and in politics it's not always easy because you have the left, right, middle, and like I said, we're not political, so we don't care which side you represent.
Hellenism, and your issue is an issue of national security for Greeks. And even though the footprint of Hellenism in the region, unfortunately, has been shortened, let's say it, or shrinked, let's say it in nice words, without being political, it is our duty to support you. And it doesn't matter if you're right or if you're left. It is a matter of humanity, of faith, and of Hellenism. So I think all cards are on your side, and we shouldn't be discussing. And I can tell you that I will support everything you're doing, and we will try to help you in this direction. 2021, you said probably you met the minister or Mr. Christoulakis from diaspora. Mr. Christoulakis.
We met also the president of the diaspora. He put me on the spot. I can't remember his name.
Right. However, we will try to support you in this direction and help you in this way. However, it's a difficult issue. I don't know. I hope as many viewers will see this. And what are the next plans of your association? Do you have any event? Do you have anything that you are going to do the next few days and people should be informed about?
Well, I have a report that I have to put out. It's kind of long overdue, but it
Yes.
documents there's the kidnapping of the Alawite women and children. So there's an index list of that. There's the violations against the Alawites, and then there's a separate section of the violations against the Greek Orthodox community, which is quite dense as well. So we have to put that report out and then submit it to the relevant agencies. But I think one of the things people can do to help is to advocate for the minorities and support organizations like Rafi's and mine, so that we can try to advocate for self-determination for these communities.
All right. I would like to thank you for being with us here today. I can promise you that we will have another session in the future. I want to hear about this report, Christina. I want you to present the main findings. And I would like to tell you that I respect you very much, and I'm very proud that you're doing what you're doing, that you are very strong people that are fighting this oppression. And I wish you God's blessing, God's help and power and strength within you, because it's a very difficult task that you have in front of you. And we will try to support you in any way we can. Thank you very much for being with me.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Φίλες και φίλοι, ένα δύσκολο θέμα, το θέμα της Ορθοδοξίας στη Συρία, του αποτυπώματος του ελληνισμού στην περιοχή, της καταπίεσης την οποία δέχονται αυτοί οι άνθρωποι εκεί στη Συρία, την βαρβαρότητα, δυστυχώς του Ισλάμ, ενώ η λέξη Ισλάμ σημαίνει ειρήνη, αλλά ορισμένοι επιτίδοι προσπαθούν να καταφέρουν εκεί την εθνική κάθαρση της περιοχής, όλων των άλλων αλλόθρησκων πληθυσμών. Είναι μια δύσκολη στιγμή για τους αδερφούς μας εκεί στην Συρία. Πρέπει να τους στηρίξουμε. Ο σταθμός θα προσπαθήσει στο μέλλον να προωθήσει τα θέματα του συνδέσμου. Βρίσκεται σε στενή επαφή μαζί με τους προέδρους και των Αλαουιτών αλλά και των Ελληνορθόδοξων του Λεβάντ. Τι να πω, είναι άνθρωποι οι οποίοι πραγματικά παλεύουν καθημερινά για την πίστη τους, για την ελευθερία του ελληνισμού της περιοχής, γιατί πολλοί από αυτούς εκεί είναι αδέρφια τα οποία είναι παιδιά και εγγόνια, δυσέγγωνα Ελλήνων. Πρέπει να τους βοηθήσουμε. Για όσους από εσάς θέλουν να έρθουν σε επαφή με την οργάνωση ή θέλουν περισσότερες πληροφορίες, μπορείτε να απευθυνθείτε στο σταθμό, στο apodimostv@gmail.com. Μπορείτε να γράψετε ένα email και θα σας προωθήσουμε τα στοιχεία επαφής του Προέδρου και της Προέδρου των Αλαουιτών της κυρίας Χριστίνα Αβραάμ. Σας ευχαριστώ, σας εύχομαι ένα ευτυχισμένο νέο έτος, ένα 2026 με φως, αγάπη, ευημερία και πάνω απ' όλα πίστη. Να είστε καλά, σας ευχαριστώ. Γεια σας.